spoke about stories. And Young Life is about sharing stories because our mandate is to share the gospel with lost kids, right? And the Bible is about stories. If you read the Bible, the things you remember the most are the stories you read about, right? And of course, when we're hearing from people today who have been part of the movement for a couple of years, and of course, starting with my story, I became a part of Young Life in 2013. Like a lot of people here, like Sharon, Percy, whom you're going to meet in a moment. I was just a kid who was lost. Grew up in a single-parent household in a place called Bulumane, a very rough neighborhood. And I just had no direction. Long story short, I joined in, I volunteered, I served, and I think I'm so grateful for the people that are in this room that discipled me well. And later on, I became a part of the scholarship program, the DGL program, Developing Global Leaders, which has been instrumental in my personal journey of faith, but also in my professional journey. And as we speak today, I serve on the executive team for the company that I work for, which is an international company actually, which means that it's about...
Alright, so my name is Perseverance Mtoli. I'm a father of one.
Recent father of one,
and married to one wife. Alright, so I serve as the National Coordinator for Young Life Universities in Zimbabwe. And I think everything else we'll get into before. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Elliot. I was born with 3 names. The first one was Namu. The second one was Elliot. The third one was Jephanos. Born from the streets by a street mom. At the age of 20, she was 23. And I was born from the streets, so I became a street kid by virtue of birth. I'm serving Young Life.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sister Rose Rushwaya, a Dominican sister. I will talk more when I'm supposed to be sharing.
So, as you can see, our panel is quite diverse, right? We've got Percy there who came into Young Life as a kid. We've got Pastor Elliot who represents the clergy and our pastors in our churches. And we have Sister Rose who's an educator. And so these are all spheres that Young Life touch, and I think it would be a disservice for us to just speak about one sphere, right? It would be amazing for us to hear from all the different perspectives of the people that are sitting in front here. So let's start with Percy. So Percy, walk me through your first camp experience, and what's the one thing that stood out to you?
All right. So my first camp experience, actually going to camp, my main reason for going to camp was for fun, girls, and food. But mostly the fun and the girls. That's what I thought we were going to. Yeah. And yeah, some will testify I was one of the most problematic kids in Young Life. Because I actually didn't know what Young Life was really about besides the fun. Second day and third day, then getting to realize that for someone who was born and bred in church, that I actually didn't have a personal relationship with Christ. That came to me as a shocker. It came through to me as a shocker because I was born in church. I'm a PK, pastor's kid. So I thought because I go to church and my parents go to church and they live in church, I'm automatically a Christian. But I only realized when I went for Young Life Camp that I actually needed to forge a personal relationship.
So I mean, like, growing up in church, right, you're exposed to the gospel, you're exposed to the Bible. What made Young Life different? What is it about Young Life that made you connect with the person of Jesus? What was different?
All right. When Young Life was introduced at church, the one main thing that really stood out for me was the way Young Life leaders look at us as individuals. Why I'm saying that is, growing up in church, they'll just say, they speak to us as a collective. They don't talk to the individual. And then my then supervisor, or in Young Life, who was Power, he would annoy me a lot because he would always call, he would always come, he would always follow up, and always wanted to know what's going on in my life. But over time, he gained my trust until I actually told him the issues that were going on in my life that were actually leading me to behave in certain ways that I was behaving.
But I guess it speaks to sometimes how churches view kids and teenagers, right? It's almost like the church is primarily for the adults, and the teenagers and the kids are almost an afterthought, right? Just give them a couple of games, give them some soccer, but not really walk with them. And I think that's one thing I love about Young Life is that we have an incontestable ministry, right? Because what did God do when He wanted to save humanity? He became a man in the form of Jesus Christ. It seems there's an indictment against churches and the clergy this evening that you're not prioritizing the youth. So like, give me like a perspective of the partnership that you witnessed between Young Life and the church, and sort of how that can help us help the young people in Zimbabwe.
Thank you so much once again. First and foremost, I would like to thank this guy who is seated by my side in this conference to Young Life. That is 2017. From 2017, I've seen that Young Life impacted a lot of people in our community. And as a church, I think we had tried several times to have some outreaches, but the strategical part of Young Life is out of this world. To the fact that I've witnessed more than 1,300 kids giving their lives to Christ in a month, which is massive. So there's no change in this generation that is having such type of outreach. So Young Life is just a tool that brings a lot of children and transforms them to God. One thing that I like about Young Life, they always say, we are not a church. And they have never been a church from 1941 up until now, but they are a key partner to the church, especially when it comes to evangelism.
Gross. Amazing. As someone who's in the clergy, clearly, with the attire, and also an educator, I think you have such a unique perspective into the lives of kids, because you see them every single day. So just walk me through, what are some of the challenges that you witness in your day-to-day interaction with kids? And
The question is to say, sometimes the challenge that I faced with the young people is to unlearn what they have been taught. All along, this thing has been okay, and one time we are told this is not right, so what is right? And that's where the Young Life comes in with the aspect of saying we are going back to the source, who is God, in whatever we do. So that's if I've answered the question that way. Say sometimes for the young to change, to move, and unlearn whatever they've been learning before.
amazing. So how long have you been part of Young Life?
Now for the past 7 years, I would say my first interaction with Young Life, I was having a former student. I was at DC for 14 years as a teacher as well, then as a deputy head there. And I must have made an impact, one of my students, or one or so. So the student came to visit when I was in Bulawayo then, and that's the time I got in touch with Young Life, and we continued to work together and journey together with what is there, and I've appreciated the collaboration.
Okay, 7 years, that's quite a while. So like, what are some of the stories that you can share with everyone tonight of some of the transformational impacts you've seen in the lives of kids? Maybe one story.
My experience, let me just talk about Bulawayo. When I was in Bulawayo, when I joined the community there, I noticed one kid. If I say kid, was one of the students. I think she was in Form 3 then, and she was secluded. This child would just sit on her own. So when I was trying to understand why is she like this, but I noticed she had a health challenge, problem like that. And then we continued interacting. I talked to her. When I called her, I said, you know what, I'm talking to you not as your head, but as a fellow Christian. So we started talking, that I get to understand what was going on in her life. But she was at a point of giving up. That's the point that when I said, if the Lord brought me here, it's probably about this child. That child, all of a sudden, when we started talking and sharing, she changed in whatever she was going through. I'm looking at the health side of that child. So I remained with that in the back of my mind and looking at a number of students who were probably either too noisy or too quiet. And knowing what is happening in our society today, especially with the drugs and all, DC Bulaya was not spared with that. So when I had this former student from DC Harare visiting me in Bulawayo, I said to her, can you come and talk to the prefects? Whatever you've shared with me, you know, I accept, I appreciate that. So she came and talked to the students. The reason why we are making or working with the young leaders, they will also help the others. So when the kids interact with each other, we noticed, be it challenges we face or problems that we face, they come through another student. They will say, okay, so-and-so is going through this, so-and-so is going through this. So we say, why not empower our prefects? Why not empower the others, the children, so to be able to bring others to a space that they are safe, that they are okay. So that was our journey, and we had